Hey everybody, this is Isaiah from Magic System Monday, and I'm just here to let you all know that this video you're watching now is actually a clip. It's one segment out of a much larger video. If you want the full version, you can find it in the comments below. Now I do confess, in the midst of my complaining, I seem to have forgotten about one very special, important person. Now Rock Lee's a bit of an interesting case. He seems to have an interesting disability, which is he can't use ninjutsu. That is to say, he only relies on taijutsu. He has a chakra network. He has physical energy, obviously. He has a brain and he has experience and skill. Therefore, he would have spiritual energy. He has a chakra network, but he can't use ninjutsu. So all that he does is just use physical techniques or martial arts. However, he was taught to use the 8 gates technique. Now, the 8 gates technique doesn't actually use chakra, even though it's attached to the chakra network. Post-editing, it actually does use chakra, but I'll explain the particulars on that later. Basically, it just overrides limiters in the body, so you can access your full strength at the cost of doing damage to yourself. And all that is fine and dandy. However, we've got one problem. This information would have us believe that he cannot weave chakra, or that he cannot use chakra, right? If all he's using is physical techniques, alright, you would assume that he's not using chakra control to enhance his physical body, like everyone else is. He just has raw physical prowess. And there's no issue with that, except that in Naruto Part 2, this man is literally capable of standing on water using ninjutsu. Now this is the part where some people get pedantic and start making excuses. Truth be told, up to this point, there is no actual justification. But people's headcanon justification is to make the argument that the chakra control technique that allows you to walk on water, which by the way is the same one that allows you to enhance your physical body and all that stuff, or at least very similar to it, is somehow different from the rest of the other types of ninjutsu, like casting spells and genjutsu and stuff like that. Which in all honesty is at least partially true. However, all of these are just excuses. With the information we have about this character up until this point, this is something he realistically should not be able to do. Now, this is the part where a lot of excuses and headcanon and mumbo jumbo come about. There are people who, if you argue with them about this online, or you go look it up, there are people who will invent their own rules on how chakra works, and come up with their own terms and everything, to try to explain why this guy can walk on water, but can't use ninjutsu. The only real requirement to use even the most basic forms of jutsu are chakra control. If he can walk on water, he can conjure chakra, he has chakra, he can control it well enough to walk on water. There is no reason why this guy should not be able to at least perform something like the basic clone jutsu. Unless we're arguing he doesn't have skill. I mean, he can do the hand signs just like everybody else. He has chakra control and chakra like everyone else. So why is the writer only arbitrarily deciding he can circumstantially use the chakra when everybody else can do whatever? And even if he couldn't actually perform like hand seals and do basic forms of ninjutsu, what's to stop him from just manifesting the energy like I mentioned earlier? At this part in the story, I mean, that rule has already gone out the window. Surely he should be able to do that at least. Even if the writer had just decided that this was some special condition, and then gave it a name and made it a real thing in the world of Naruto, even if it was rare, even that would have done wonders for the world building, and would have made this feel like it made a whole lot more sense. And that, in all honesty, would have just been a simple adjustment to make. He really wouldn't have had to change anything except for giving the condition a name. Guy mentioned that ninja who can't use ninjutsu are rare, but in reality, the number is just about 0. Maybe Rock Lee and his father are the only 2 people who this is true for. And for all intents and purposes, this could be true for most normal people in the world of Naruto, and we'd have no idea. Just adding a couple of small details could shift the way we see the series significantly and make everything make a lot more sense. This is what I often call the art of 2 sentences. And I call it that because there are a lot of issues in a lot of works of fiction, including Naruto, that could easily be fixed and completely removed if for the addition of a couple of sentences and specific points and explanations. Just add the right two sentences in the right spot where the exposition is given, and this entire problem goes away. But maybe all of that is just nitpicking, as I'm often accused of. But answer me this: how is it that this character, who could not perform a single ninjutsu, other than walking on water and the 8 gates technique, which, fun fact by the way, also revolves around using chakra in the body, how is it that he can perform these 2 techniques, which require some degree of chakra control, but can perform no other jutsu, including the clone jutsu, which by the way is required to pass from the Ninja Academy? That's right, this character, in order to become a ninja, he had to pass the Ninja Academy. And the final exam of the Ninja Academy is to perform the clone jutsu, which he can't perform. How did this guy make it into school? This is another thing that people make a lot of excuses and headcanon about. It's not very uncommon for people to say, well, maybe, ... This is always a red flag. Whenever the writer has not given you enough information and has not implied that there is additional information that you don't know, don't say maybe. You should never say maybe. But people will say, well, maybe they made an exception for him or something like that. Which, let's be honest, they wouldn't have. No one likes him. Everybody thinks he sucks. And Naruto failed the assignment a number of times. They didn't make an exception for him until he learned a more powerful jutsu. It stands to reason that Rock Lee would have never passed the academy. And it's never ever brought up or mentioned ever. So ultimately, even though I like the theme of this character, Rock Lee, truth be told, the logic that governs the way his powers work don't make any sense. The writer just arbitrarily decided that a basic thing that he seems to be able to do, he just decides he can't do it. Alright everybody, that's about it for today. If you want to hear the rest of this video, you can find the full version in the description below. But if you want to take a look at this video segment by segment, you can find the link for that in the description as well. In any case, this is Isaiah from Magic System Monday, and I'll see you all next time.